What's up guys, BloodFox here with another video for solo. We're going to go through pros and cons, PvE, PvP, what to do and what not to do. Also keep in mind this is solely based off my experience throughout the first beta. I'll give my overall thoughts of solo at the end. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. Despite not having an Unreal Engine 4 port, the game still looks gorgeous. I mean, take a look at this scenery as I fly around. Next pro. The class I played, the Spearmaster, was by far one of the most fun and fluid classes I have ever played in any of the MMOs I have played seriously, which were only two, Final Fantasy XIV and Black Desert Online. Next pro, which can also be seen as a con, but it is important people understand this. From level 1 all the way up to level 37, which is also called Student Plane 1, it is basically a tutorial. It provides you with tips and familiarizes you with how solo functions, as well as gets you in tune with your specific class. If I'm being honest, I think the game does a pretty good job at achieving this. It isn't until you're Student Plane 1 that the game is meant to open up to you. Also, at level 37, you have to do a class quest in order to achieve Student Plane 1. If you don't do this, you will just sit stagnant. Next pro. When I hit Student Plane 1, the gameplay of Spearmaster changed a little. Fighting mobs actually felt like I was stronger now, and I don't mean that in a stat and level sense. In the case of Spearmaster, I was able to float enemies, throw them around, etc., which was not really something the class could do before. To me, that's a pro. Next pro. Dungeons on normal difficulty and up are actually fun. Being able to go into a dungeon with 9 other people is so awesome. It's like a mini raid, but it's not. Next pro. Cash Shop doesn't try to completely screw you over. Let me explain. When you buy something, it can be used for that gender or class throughout your account. You do not need to purchase it again, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Next pro. Being able to customize your UI is always so nice to have. Next pro. The fluidity of action combat and tab target feels so nice. Honestly, I never thought such a concept would work so well, but it does, and it's definitely a lot of fun. While the character creator itself is pretty good, the limitation on creativity for a color palette can be seen as a con. This does not bother me much personally, but because this factors in so many different kinds of players, I have to rule this out as a con. Next con. If you live in the West, the ping can be quite bad sometimes. It happened to me enough that I have to set this as a con. Next con. I'm really nitpicking at this point, seeing as I don't have a huge issue with the game despite these cons, but I would have to say add more accessible content within the beta. You should aim to complete the story quests, tutorials, and heroic events. Doing the story will provide you with most of the gear you need, so don't bother buying any PvE gear. I mean, unless you want to. Then, by all means. I think, in the long run, you would be better off saving your gold and silver though. Next tip. Don't go around killing non-quest related mobs. Doing this nets you little experience and ultimately takes up your time. Please stop. Next tip. Actually take the time to read and process the info before you. The game does try to help you out. Next tip. Don't PvP with your PvE gear on. Do and finish the PvP tutorial. Seriously, it provides you with free PvP gear. Just do it. Next tip. I swear to the Dark Lord, stop joining and asking to join guilds if you are just going to leave. Just stop. You're giving me cancer. Next tip. Have fun. Get out there. Make friends, socialize, and run dungeons. The more you open up to this game, the more fun you're gonna have. Trust. PvE. I'll be honest, I skipped through most of the cutscenes and dialogue. Not because I think it's bad or anything, but I really wanted to know how this game functions. From what I can tell though, it does seem to be interesting. I will go through it at some point on an alt character. PvP. Unfortunately, due to limited time because of personal life, I was only able to finish the PvP tutorial. But from what I experienced to the individual duels I had with other players, it was a ton of fun. I only got to do 1v1s and 3v3s, but even just that was a blast to me. Try it out. What are my final thoughts on the beta and solo as a whole? Well, I personally think it's very good. It isn't perfect, but what solo does and provides, it does well. I think at the very least, it is a game worth trying once. I will be playing in the second CBT, and I will continue to play and create content upon full release. So, what do you guys think? Did you like solo, or do you think it was bad? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, if you guys stuck through to the end, liked what I had to say, then slay that like button. Thanks for your time. If you guys want to catch me streaming, follow me at twitch.tv/MajorBloodFox. And with that, this is BloodFox logging off. Later. Be sure to follow your ghosts.